Ladies and gentlemen, we all know about all the amazing games on the Switch. There's some really popular games that are great, there's even some hidden gems, but in life, with the good comes the bad. Everything needs balance. So in this video, we're going to go over the top 10 worst Nintendo Switch games of all time. Let's go and get right into it. Yeah, I've always wanted to make this video, I don't know why, but it's time to do it. So we're going to go over all these bad Switch games, but I'm going to challenge myself to find one good thing about each game. Before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe. We are well on our way to 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for the support. And let's go and get right into it. The first game we're talking about today is called Raccoon Adventure Animal City Simulator 3D Farm Super Deluxe. Yeah, having that many words in the title should have been the first warning. In this game, you will experience life through the eyes of an adorable and cunning raccoon. Explore a bustling suburban neighborhood filled with countless opportunities for adventure, mischief, and plenty of snacks to scavenge. Embark on a thrilling journey. I'm sorry, it's hard to read this description because I know how bad this game is and I know what the footage is showing, and it's not showing anything that's in a description. But essentially, you're a raccoon and you do raccoon stuff. Whenever you're thinking about having a fun time on the Switch, being a raccoon's probably not the first thing that comes to mind. The graphics look like early PS2 graphics, but to be honest, that's an insult to the PS2. Like, look how exciting the game looks and sounds. Are you excited yet? If I need to say something good about this game, I guess I'll just say raccoons are cool and they look like little burglars. Now let's talk about Troll and I. In this game, a young boy named Otto forms a bond with a giant troll, which is being pursued by a merciless hunter. It is set in a post-World War II Scandinavia. I know, how could this not be the greatest game of all time? The troll is capable of powerful attacks that can defeat enemies in a single blow, while Otto relies on lighter and more nimble attacks. The two need to work together to solve puzzles. You know a game is bad when it's no longer on the eShop. Like, the eShop will essentially sell any kind of game. To be honest, I only looked for a few seconds, so it might have actually been there, but searching more than a couple seconds takes an effort, and with this game, what's the point? Are you ready to see one of the worst cutscenes of all time?
It's a pretty penny you're putting up here, Eugene. What's in it for you?
Let's just say it has huge scientific importance.
Really?
So I struggle to find anything good to say about this game, so I'll just say trolls are pretty cool sometimes. The next game we're talking about is Skull Island Rise of the Kong. If you were anywhere on the internet in 2023, I think, maybe this is 2024, I don't know, time is just moving so fast. But when this game came out, it took the world by storm, and not for a good reason. In this game, you will conquer waves of primal beasts and defeat the minions of your arch nemesis on your way to becoming the rightful king of Skull Island. Traverse a mysterious island and uncover lore and all the secrets the island has to offer. So much lore, guys, it gets so freaking deep. Not only is this one of the worst games on the Switch, this now holds the title of one of the worst games of all time. Like, look at this dinosaur just floating in the air after you kill him. It seems very realistic to me. And in this game you can also climb spaghetti noodles. How cool. To say something nice about this game, I'll just say this little baby gorilla is cute, but in a way where it's like it's so ugly it's cute kind of way. Let's just move on. Now let's talk about Decay of Logos. Immerse yourself in the world of Decay of Logos and unravel its mysteries. Explore old dungeons, battle unforgiving foes, and journey through a vibrant, interconnected fantasy realm with your mystical elk companion. On the surface level, that doesn't sound like a bad game, but you have to attach that description to the game that you're looking at. The graphics are just awful. The game is absolutely lifeless, and essentially it's just a Zelda clone. But being a Zelda clone is not a bad thing. Like, we have games like Tunic, Immortal Phoenix Rising, and the Oceanhorn series. Those are all Zelda clones that I guess just made an effort, because when you look at this game you don't see the word effort. Okay, let's find something good to say about this game. This little dude who's a slave has cool shorts. Very hip. Now let's move on to Balan Wonderland. So when you think of bad games on the Switch, the first game that comes to mind is Balan Wonderland. I will admit, when I first learned about this game, before it ever came out, I was kind of excited. You may not believe this, but this was actually created by Yuji Naka, you know, the creator of Sonic. So when you hear Yuji Naka is working on a game, you're like, hey, that's gotta be a great game. This looks like a budget game from the early 2000s. It's been talked about over and over again, so there's nothing I can really say new, but I had to include it in this list. To say something nice, I will say I do like some of the costumes and the way the characters look. Like, there was a little bit of effort put into it, but not enough to count for anything, you know what I mean? Guys, I apologize for talking about all these bad games, but it's fun. But we need something to cleanse our palate. What about some great games at some discounted prices? That sounds like that'll do it. Well, luckily today's video is sponsored by InstantGaming.com. InstantGaming.com is a website where you can buy games for PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and the Nintendo Switch at insanely discounted prices. You can even get eShop gift cards for discounted prices. So if you would like to save some money on some great games, use the link in the description. Also, they're going to allow me to do a giveaway every single month to my community. Whoever wins will get their name on the website and get any game that they want absolutely free. So below the link to save money, there will be a giveaway link. Use both of those links, and let's go ahead and get right back into this video. The next game we're talking about today is Vroom in the Night Sky. There are various night skies in this world, and it is the work of a magical girl to collect stardust. You are the magical girl Luna, and you will ride your magical bike to fly around the night sky and collect stardust. I feel like I just said the same thing over and over, but to be honest, that's the exact way they wrote this description. This game is actually insane, like how bad the quality is. Earlier, I mentioned a game looked like it was from the PS2 era. We are officially in the PS1 era of graphics now. It honestly feels like a horrible mobile game from like a foreign country or something. You can use a couple different vehicles to fly around, and there's something very suspicious about being an airplane, because later in the game you can fly around the city. Yeah, it's giving me 9/11 vibes. There's not much to say about this game, like you can clearly see why it's awful. So to say something good about it, I'll just say I actually like the title. Vroom in the Night Sky sounds pretty cool, except it's this game, so it's not cool. Now let's talk about Waifu Impact. Waifu Impact is a third-person shooter. Equip yourself with a water gun and unlock all the waifus. It's so hot, so why don't you come to Waifu Island? The cutest girls are waiting for you, let's have some fun. Are you ready to have some fun? Like look dude, I get it. Everybody loves a good waifu, but we have to call a spade here. This game is just dumb. The background graphics and the character graphics look like they're from two different games entirely, like somehow they mashed them together. I don't want to spend too much time on this one either because, like, what's the point? And to be honest, I can't find anything good to say about this one. Now let's talk about Chocobo GP. When this game was first announced, I was a little hesitant, but still kind of excited, like I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. When everybody first learned about it, they're like, great, another Mario Kart clone. I get it, there are too many Mario Kart clones, but like being a Mario Kart clone is not a bad thing as long as you do it right. Like we have games like Crash Team Racing, Diddy Kong Racing, even though it's been multiple decades, but Diddy Kong Racing nonetheless. But to be completely honest, this game was essentially just a cash grab, almost like a full-on scam. There was a light version and then a paid version, and they kind of like confused you on which ones you were getting. Like initially, I think this game was supposed to be free, but then it wasn't free or something. The graphics are awful, the gameplay is just as bad, and honestly it's just a stain on the entire name of Final Fantasy. So to say something good about it, I would just say Chocobos are cool. Now let's talk about the Deer God. That's right, the Deer God is a breathtaking 3D pixel art adventure that will challenge your religion and your platforming skills. You heard me right. This game about a deer is supposed to challenge your religion. It is a game about survival, reincarnation, and karma, all set in a breathtaking and unique 3D pixelized world. I think being breathtaking is subjective, but I don't know. I just can't find anything breathtaking here. It's really funny because in the description they just lay it straight out, like in capital letters. You will live as a deer. And I don't know why that's so funny to me. But to say something good, and this is actually a positive thing, some of the in-game music is actually really good. So if I can play it without getting copyrighted, you'll hear some of it. But if not, just take your boy's word for it. And ladies and gentlemen, we just have one more game. Just bear with me a little bit longer. The last game we're talking about is Race with Ryan. A couple years ago, when my daughter was like 4 years old, she got her first Switch Lite, and I was looking for little games for her to play. And she had watched Ryan on YouTube a couple times, so I was like, you know what? This is probably a good entry-level game. My daughter was only 4 at the time, and even she knew this was an awful game. This is truly probably the worst Mario Kart clone I have ever played. Like, the graphics are bad, the gameplay is awful, and they truly didn't make an effort. The cutscenes look like they were made in Photoshop in literally 30 seconds. And for some reason, this little bastard's face just pisses me off. And to be fair, I tried to give it an actual chance, like I tried to play with my daughter, you know, something we could do together, but the controls were abysmal. Like, it just didn't make any sense. You would turn and just crash into a wall, or you wouldn't turn fast enough. And you know I said I would try to say something good about every game, but in this one, I actually refuse to say anything good. it goes against my morals. Ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, those were the 10 worst Nintendo Switch games of all time. Now I think you and me are a lot closer. We have bonded over this traumatic experience. So thank you for suffering through this with me. And shout out to Instant Gaming for sponsoring this video. Use both links down below, save some money on some games, and enter a giveaway. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you could, and you guys know me. I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.